Yeah. So.
I'm taking this class from. Whatever you take.
That's it.
Advanced calendar.
No, I gotta actually go get that.
But I will
because
come here tomorrow.
Transmission did it.
I mean, I have to say again, it should say in the title. It says 9 to 10.
You really don't need to get out of
Did you join Dan's hand?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that.
Oh, wait, I see you
Got
now.
my help.
I see you.
Reflector. I thought we were
Rooms and branches.
I see you. Go hang out.
Yeah.
And what that means is, you're making a form. If you say yes to this, it takes you to another place.
There you go.
So if yes, you want to take pros, then you want to do water pros or, you know, that's what that one piece is, branching. Logic.
Oh, it's been a quick
Those are a couple forms. I did this one. I thought that might also be a good impression.
I'm not saying.
And that might be more. We might start this on
I'm actually getting a house if I have 30,000.
However, yeah.
I definitely don't want to
That's
do
like-
this one. We don't do that.
Rental property.
And Kathy's doing.
Not
that.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
And she might can share with us a little bit.
In fact, we would
She's
pay
doing
off
that a
Jen's
couple of
one.
times.
Oh, she's presenting.
Yeah, she's presenting that, so we could get with her on that.
No, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, I thought you would. And I didn't know, you know what I did is interactive diagram of slides and draw.
Break it down. Because we don't have to get into
I just can't, we didn't know why to do
No,
that.
and I thought that being a pro would be good.
Well, she has a new car.
And I did research.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I bet if you open camera, pull that tab away from this window so that there's no signal.
Oh, yeah.
What you want to do is
It was super cheap. We screwed that all up. So my mom was with me. I was 18. We had built this guy down, so it was a decent deal. And I spoke on the check, and we shook hands and everything, and agreed upon everything. She's like, oh yeah, I would like to trade in this vehicle. So I added another like hour and a half.
Thank you for being patient. Good morning. I am Heidi Olson, and I work for UAF eLearning. I'm the Learning Design Coordinator and Instructional Designer. So welcome and thank you for coming. And today helping me is Kristen Buffard, who is also an Instructional Designer on the UAF team. And we are live streaming this session through Hangouts on the Air, and we have Dan Lasota and Sean Holland just left the room. Yeah, he's back again, helping with that streaming part. So thank you, and thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about classroom, and we only have about 45 minutes, 50 minutes for the session, so it's not going to be, there's not going to be a lot of hands-on unless you're already familiar with classroom. On Thursday, there's a 3-hour session that will be totally hands-on, and that will give you a chance to practice and play. We're going to show you the teacher side of classroom and the student side of classroom, and then talk about a little bit about why or how you might use it in your class. I'm going to direct you to the agenda page or the home site, Google site page that we're using for all of the presentations for this session, and you can link that. You can find that on the schedule site. Each of the sessions has a presentation link that will take you to the Google site. And on the agenda page, we have each of the sessions listed. This is Google Classroom. I have a short URL for this page, and then as well a QR code if you have a device and want to just quick snapshot of it. We have 2 hashtags that we're using. So if you're tweeting or Google Plus, we're using GAF AK and hashtag GAF. GAF is Google Applications for Education. So in case that's interesting for you. Also, just a reminder of the Wi-Fi password and network. We've been told that the guest network should sustain us. So we'll see how that works. So far, it's been okay. So I have a little slideshow here to get us going. So does anyone currently use Classroom in their classroom? Google Classroom, right? A couple of you. And has anyone here tried it out as a potential? Okay. Has anyone logged in and then immediately thought, oh, I can't deal with this now, I need to log out? Close the window, I'll do that later, right? So I found a couple videos that I thought I would share. I forgot to tell the Hangout folks this time.
Oh, your microphone is muted to the Hangouts? Yep, it is. I'll mute mine for while you can play, so you can play that.
Okay, let's try this again. Third time.
I consider myself lucky to be a teacher. Whose website are you looking at now? If a teacher is collecting and handing out papers, they're not maximizing the amount of time that they're actually teaching.
You know, I have 45 minutes a day with kids. So if I can get them to do an assignment at night, I've now added time with them. As a first-year teacher, it was rough in the beginning. The amount of paper was overwhelming.
Google Classroom is one location for all of their worksheets and handouts. It's a way for a teacher to be able to distribute projects to students. And it's a way for students to be able to turn in their work.
Everyone should have their own copy. It has their name up on the top.
It gives you a little more teaching time. And who doesn't like to save time?
Everything that we need for the class is in one place.
My worksheets are there. My group work is there.
I submit it, and then it's done. I don't have to worry about losing it or forgetting to hand it in or spilling coffee on it in the morning.
Classroom really helped organize everything, and it showed me when it was submitted, what was submitted. You cannot stay in teaching and keep going to the old ways.
With Google Classroom, I'm able to maximize time in the classroom to bring students to that next level.
It definitely helped make me a much better teacher.
You see faculty now that are rejuvenated. Teaching becomes new again.
Very good, very good.
I put the.
So now I have
another
video, and then
my mic again. Okay, that's basically, that is basically it.
So we're good to go then?
Yep, yep.
So those were two little quick videos. What are some things that you picked out that you see that Classroom can do for you as a teacher or for your students?
I really liked that option where I could make a copy for each person automatically. So at the university, I'll have them go through the steps to make a copy. And some do a better job than that with others. And it would be great for them to just on one click be able to give everybody a copy.
Right. And you think it's hard at the university?
I know, with high school.
Think about what it's like for anything else?
Yeah, I've used something like this called Edmodo, and I really liked it. It got the students more comfortable with using the keyboard and just, online work. So this looks even more versatile, I think.
I was just going to comment on the Edmodo thing. That Google Classroom, in my experience, is different. It's more of like a learning management system, whereas Edmodo is a more social interaction. I haven't used Edmodo all that much, but there's some things that you can do in here that Edmodo won't be able to do, and there's some things in Edmodo that this won't be able to do. So they'll complement each other a little bit.
And I just want to talk about Edmodo a little bit too. Edmodo, Fairbanks has an Edmodo account, and we obviously have a Google Apps account. I'm steering people more towards Classroom. Edmodo actually needs a permission slip for anybody under the age of 13. And it's because they sell their apps online. When Edmodo first came out, it was free to give them permission, and then as soon as they started doing their third-party apps, they then have become complying with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. So if you are using Edmodo and you are actually anybody under the age of 18 with permission slip, whereas Google does not because it's part of our domain, or the school district's domain. So I'm just throwing that out.
One thing that I looked at the Classroom last year, about halfway through the year, and the one thing that I didn't like about it is the inability to do test quizzes. At least at the time, I couldn't figure out a way. I don't use Edmodo, but I use using Schoology, which is very similar. And that's one option that I really like, Schoology, that Classroom didn't have.
It has a testing.
Right, where you can, it's similar to the forms. I guess you can kind of backdoor it using the Google Forms to make a test or a quiz, but at the time it was just, I didn't want to deal with it.
Edmodo's quiz ability. Are you able to Schoology more than Edmodo's?
Yes.
and put it in there?
Yes.
So you have a worksheet, you can scan it and put it in there.
Yeah, it would be a PDF or a fillable PDF. Yeah, okay.
Because then there's
Anything
that,
else?
that with being able to do that, the student can't come back and go, well, I lost the paper.
Exactly.
How many, 10,
Exactly.
15 times a kid keep on
Right.
student.
Yeah.
How is this different than Canvas that the school district or Blackboard that the university?
Yeah.
Is this a choice that an instructor would make, whether to use Canvas or Classroom or whether to use
Yeah,
Blackboard?
so someone else?
I chime in, the cost is very different to start with.
Yeah, from an administrative point.
Yeah, from an administrative point of view, Classroom is the right price.
Yeah. So, you know, technically, Canvas has a lot of the capabilities, but as pointed out, it doesn't have a quizzing function. So you would have to kind of work around. It doesn't, the other LMSs are just much more robust. But if you couple this with Drive and some other tools, it might be the perfect tool. Yeah, we'll get a look at what it's like. So some things that I, pulled out from the videos was that you're able to share resources with students. So this is like scanning a PDF, scanning a worksheet, sharing links to students that might pertain to an assignment. You can create lessons where you would have some content, objectives, as well as an assignment that they would turn in or something that they would do. You're going paperless. So pointed out in one of the videos, I didn't have to, if I left my homework at home, it's not an excuse because it's on the cloud.
I had a question. I teach grade school, and so not only do I need to communicate with my students, I need to communicate with their parents. Is there a way for the parents to get on?
So there is no parent access, so that would have to be through a student's user ID.
So they would have to use their
So they would have to use their students. And in fact, on the agenda page for this, there's a resource, and it's actually a video that a school district created for parents about Classroom. So that might be something that you can refer them to. So there's an easy turn-in. There's a turn-in button. You can ask questions. Your students can ask questions outside of class. They have a question about an assignment. You have due dates. You can also, if you have absent students or traveling students, Classroom is a great mechanism for them to stay up to date and current. Snow days, you have extended snow, ice, fog days. You could keep connected with your students. So we're going to go into Classroom, and one thing I'm going to say right off is you can only use Classroom with people in your own domain. So if I create a classroom at alaska.edu, only folks who have that same access to that same domain can access that classroom. So in a situation like that, this can be hard working in groups because we're not all on the same domain. If you go to classroom.google.com, this is where you sign up. And I just want to say warning, warning, warning. If you haven't signed up before, and even though you might be a student in this class, if you ever want to create a classroom of your own, do not sign in as a student. Always sign in as a teacher. So if you or anyone else is in that situation, always sign up as a teacher. That preference of a student and teacher is tied to your user ID, and it takes an admin, some programming in the back end to switch that, and it can take sometimes 24 hours for that to happen. So if you go to Google, classroom.google.com, make sure you're signing in as a teacher. You can also find Classroom under your waffle. When I say the Google waffle, do you know what I'm talking about? I love waffles. So when you sign into your Google account, you see a matrix. That's known as the waffle.
And if you click on that, that's where all of your applications are. And they just recently allowed you to move these around. Oh, wait, what?
Except for right now.
Except for right now. They did that
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Yesterday you could.
Okay, so we'll try that out. Maybe so. Okay. So you can move your waffle, so that's exciting. If you are on alaska.edu and want to join in this class, there's the code. Or if you're, I also created another instance of the classroom on the Fairbanks North Shore Borough School District. But I'm going to be working in the Alaska class. So any updates you see me do now, you won't be seeing in the North Shore Borough domain. But if you want to see what it looks like, I have that for you. And I'm going to have you do that
right now
on air. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what this looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and
I need that code.
one slide up.
Or let me have a pencil.
There it is.
189. Okay. So they want you ready.
Yeah. So I am logging in to Classroom, and this is the teacher view. And I have 4 classes showing, and the classes that don't have a face tell me that those are my classes, I'm a teacher in them. And then a profile, I'm a student in these 2 classes. And I can tell that right away because my face isn't shown. So,
How do you be a teacher in one and a student in another? How do I do that? I'd love to do that.
yeah, and in fact, you can now have 2 teachers. So if
Right,
you're a
I know that,
teacher-
but-
Okay, so you just add yourself as a student into their class. So we're going to show you.
Okay.
So Kristen is going to share from her side.
Is that my cue?
That's your cue.
Take over.
And she's going to be a student in the class, and I'm going to have her join the class by using that class code.
So this should pop up in a second.
You're not in your email yet. Kristen, put your sign in as well.
There we are. Yay.
No,
What?
here's our watermark.
Ooh, okay, we'll live through it. So I have, when I initially signed up for my classroom account, I created my account as a teacher, so I was sure to specify that, but I can still sign into Heidi's class as a student. And as a student, what I'm going to do, it's very small to see, but in the upper
that window?
In the upper right-hand corner, there's a tiny little plus sign. So what I'm going to do is click on that plus sign, and I'll see a little menu. I can either join the class or create a class. So I'm going to join her class and type in the code that she had given us in that previous slide. So 585189 is her code. And from there, I'm just going to hit join and cross my fingers.
So kids only have to do that one time.
That's right.
And then they're in the class.
Mm-hmm. Then when they go to their classroom home, they'll see all the classes they've joined, whether they're the teacher or the student. Well, I guess that's more important for you, but yeah, they'll see all their classes as well. So now I'm in Heidi's class. It's really hard. Seriously?
Well, look at the banner.
Oh man, I can't play guitar.
It's a hard rock.
Oh. Yay. Okay, so I'm in and I have access to your class, Mrs. Olson.
Okay, so why don't you show where you would see announcements?
Okay, so as soon as I enter Heidi's class, I'm taken to the stream by default, and that's where Heidi's going to make all of her announcements. So I can scroll through the stream And I can see in reverse chronological order the announcements and assignments that she's posting. So that's what we're seeing right now. It's a little bit tiny. And then if I need to post anything too, there in the bottom right-hand corner is that plus circle. So if I want to create a new post on this timeline, Heidi's made this class so I can also add something to that stream. I don't need to post anything right now, so I'm going to close that. All right.
Are there any classmates in your class?
No, but I can check. There is menu across the top there, right under her banner. So from stream, I'm going to click on classmates. And so I can see I have a number of classmates. Yay! You guys joined the class with me. So yes, I do. And so let's see. I see Dave. Let's see if I can click on his name. I can't click on anybody right now, though. That makes me sad. In addition to being able to see classmates, I can also get a little bit more information about Miss Olson's class. Sorry, Mrs. I spend a lot of time in the sun. So I can also see from here, there is a link to Google Calendar. That's really handy. And there is a syllabus and an assignment checklist that I can download too. And those are all available from Heidi's class as Google Docs.
So I think that if you could go to one of the assignments, I think that you have a question about what you're supposed to do, and maybe you would want to ask me a question.
My question is, what do you want me to do? The session evaluation? No.
How about the introduction session? 01.
Oh, hey. All the way at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to click into that. So this is an assignment, and it says create a 5 to 8 slide presentation telling the class about myself. Feel free to pick a different thing. Okay.
You could just ask a question. Maybe you want the presentation to be from your dog's perspective.
Okay. How about, I'm going to ask you, actually, do you have any suggestions for where to get good themes for Google presentations? Or new themes for Google presentations.
So did I just see that while Kristen's typing there, that since she's using her iPad, she had to go to the bottom to find the menu navigation, whereas people that are using their laptop have it on the left-hand side?
Their laptop will have a left-hand side for assignments and for announcements.
So if your
that-
students have a different device, it
Yeah.
might be important.
Yeah.
So I've asked you a question.
Okay. I'm gonna take you back then. The screen.
Oh, here, let me help you with that. All right.
Okay. So. So your students will, if you're on a laptop or a Chromebook, will see something similar to the teacher side. So I see some announcements here. I've got some students that are posting public announcements. So those go to the whole class. And if I go to the assignments, I can go to the first assignment and I can see nobody has done anything yet. But I do see that a student has written a comment. And there's that one. And why didn't Kristen's?
Can you refresh?
So if I go to the first introduction again, I can see that Kristen had a comment. And,
For assignment 1?
Yeah.
It should be a comment.
Okay. I can also, I also get an email that has told me that a student has submitted a question. So if you're using email, that's another way of seeing the comment.
So if you're in the stream, back at the introduction, if you're in the stream and then go down to the introduction, my comment's
There
there.
it is, okay. Okay, and I can see that you know, some people have been working here. So this is how
Two people turned stuff
Two
in.
people did. So the way this assignment is set up is that each student will get a copy. So I created a one slide slideshow and uploaded it, and then each of the students will get their own copy.
I think it's a great time to, I don't know how many people have used it, but the difference in sharing a document and sharing, everybody has their own is kind of important. I think to maybe share that.
Okay.
The comment, each student will get a copy instead.
Right.
Because I didn't do that at first one time.
Yeah.
Just saying that we
Yeah.
have one slideshow that everybody kept changing, so.
Right. So, so this assignment is where I uploaded a slide and everyone gets their, can make a copy of it. This assignment here is just directing people to a link. And then this third assignment is having students watch a video and then creating some sort of document of their choice that they can upload and then share with me. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new assignment. And this is the difference between the student side and the faculty side or the teacher side, is that you'll have announcement and that's the option to create an assignment. So when I click on assignment, I'm going to give it a title. And just as a matter of keeping organized, it's suggested that you number your assignments for quick. It's easier to figure out what's missing if you use a numbering system, especially if you have a lot of assignments. New assignment, I can set a due date. As you can see over on the left, you can see it keeps track of what is due, and if it's past date, it'll say late on the student side. So if you're a parent logging in as your student, you can see exactly what they haven't submitted yet, what's coming up.
Did Google fix that? Because for a while, if the due date was beyond a month or something, it wouldn't show as an assignment. So like if you had like a project that you had the kids working on for the quarter or something, it wouldn't show it. It had to be within like a month. And I don't know if they ever, I think they were gonna kind of fix that. I don't know if they had.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll try it with this one and see if it shows up. So I would add a description here, directions, expectations. This is where I could attach resources. I could upload a file. So if I had a worksheet that I wanted them to work on, or an article I wanted them to read, it pulls things from your drive, which I'm going to get to in just a second. YouTube videos, links, outside links, if you want to direct link them to something. As a matter of a workflow, I usually try to create any documents I want them to use first, and I'm going to put them in Drive. It's just easier to create them up front and then go and find them than doing it the other way around. So this does take a little bit of organization. And as Kristen mentioned, the assignments do go in chronological order. So if you can't change that order like you can in some other LMSs. It just does what it does based on how you enter them. So that's another workflow thing to keep in mind. So I am gonna go ahead and grab something from my drive.
This is gonna be a hard assignment.
Yeah. So what do I want to pull here? Let me think about this. Other than not the untitled document. How about that? Notes. So now I have some options. Students can view the file. Students can edit the file. So if I want a collaboration for students, then perhaps I'm going to want them to edit the file. But if I want them, to use this file as a template and have their own version, then I'm going to select the third copy.
So I'm imagining a lot of value in this in working with students in group work, because it gives me one portal to work with a group of kids instead of 5 loud and discoordinated portals. So I can create a group with 5 kids in it, and they get a separate document than say another group with 5 kids in it. And within those groups, they can have an assignment that they turn in, they can build their presentation and.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How would you do that? Would you have it in the assignment name, group 1, assignment name, group 2, assignment name, group 3, so the kids went to the right assignment?
Yeah.
Or can you create student groups and only assign it to that group?
The first one.
See, the second one is the one I was imagining, is that group A would have their own little.
I don't think you can
Google
create
World
groups in classrooms.
language to Google.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that second feature would be great, but it's not available. And one of the things that I've found with Google and Google Classroom is if you go to the Google product forums, especially with Classroom, it's full of teachers just putting in hundreds of feature requests for additions. One of the first ones that Google actually added was the co-teaching ability to have 2 teachers.
Is it limited to 2?
I don't know the answer to that.
I think it's limited to, but I haven't tried to put more in.
I'm afraid Google.
Do it.
Good, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and click assign, and we'll see if it shows up. Yeah, it's probably not going to show up in upcoming assignments. I set an August 12th date, but it should show up in the stream.
So I'm refreshing just to take a look. I'll confirm for you. Yes.
When you have a group responding to an assignment, so I want 5 groups, I only want 5 answers on this assignment. When the kids turn in their assignment, do they have to turn it in under their own name, or can they turn it in under their group name?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If you had a Google group for a group and they joined the class.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So the Google group has its own email address.
So and the group has its own email.
Because I don't want to keep track of which group this guy's in.
Yeah.
I just want to know that his group turned in the assignment.
So you need to go group for each group of students.
Right, or one person turns it in, but then you look at the revision history to see what everybody's done. Yeah, that might be a Thursday question.
Initials could be in assignment 3, mapping skills, and it could have the initials of the 4 people, mapping skills group, and then it has mapping skills like number 2 or 4A, 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D. So you've got your different groups, and their initials could be in the title somehow if the kids that were in that group, or if you were assigning, like find your initials in there or your something like that. But I think that I think it's just a management piece. But when you wrap your head around what you're laying out there, please only respond on your document. You only get credit on your document. Thank you for helping everybody else, but.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to show you is what it looks like in Drive though, because that's for me, that's where the really power is. Because you don't have to do anything. It just all happens for you. So this is my Drive. Please pay no attention to the keeping organized part of it, because that doesn't happen. When you join Classroom, you and your students get a Classroom folder. Don't remove this and tell your students not to remove it. Inside your Classroom folder will be a folder for each of your classes. So I've got 4 classes you saw on my homepage. I go into this class. So here are the files that I have ready for this class. This was the introductory presentation that I used for my assignment 1. It's just one slide, and all the students will use that as a template. Here are each of my assignment folders. And then here's a template file that says do not edit. The only thing I did in this folder was I added these last 3 documents. I didn't create those folder templates, folders. That was created automatically by Classroom to keep it organized. And that's on the student side too, so they don't have to think about where they're putting things.
So that's why you don't want to touch it, don't want to change it, because then it'll mess up.
Yeah.
Google tries to sync.
Yeah.
Do you want me to show that for the driver?
We're running out of time, so thank you. So on the agenda page for this presentation, there are some examples and resources, and I just found this classroom best practices today, this morning. It was on Google Plus, and that's submitted by teachers, so some good ideas there. Other resources, Alice Keeler is the 60 Smarter Ways to Use Google Classroom. She's amazing, and she shares everything that she does. She's got some great ideas. I don't know what level she teaches, but she has a lot of good stuff out there. I know that was really quick. I hope it wasn't too frustrating you not to get to play along. A lot of things in Classroom. I just wanted to give an introduction.
If you start an assignment, or you open it up, you know, that you want to do an assignment, but you decide you don't want it, how do you get rid of it? Or can you?
As a student,
or as a teacher?
As a teacher, yeah, you can remove anything. So there's the little bacon, I don't know.
That's the more, I call it like just the more.
It's the more. So if I don't want that assignment anymore, I can just edit it or delete it. Yeah, and that's on the teacher side. So I could actually delete.
And as a student, if I worked through an assignment and submitted it, but Heidi hasn't graded it, my instructor, sorry, what I can do is unsubmit the assignment and continue to work and then submit it again, if there's still time.
There's a session evaluation for each of the sessions at the bottom of that page. You at some point could take a few minutes just to give us some feedback. That would be appreciated. And they want to give you a chance to get to your next session as well as all of us. So classroom questions, you know, we'll have time during lunch or afterwards for specific questions. And I am gonna try to play with groups and see what we can come up with for a workaround. So thank you all. And like I said, we're doing a 3-hour session on classrooms on Thursday. So if this is something
you think you would really like to play with and do that.
So since the numbers are kind of lower than originally registered, can we kind of move around from
You can move around anywhere.
course to course?
Yeah.
So if we decide we want to do that 3-hour, just go there or switch it on?
It'd be nice if you switch it so that we have time there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, this is, feel free to switch anything up. You're supposed to learn for yourself, so.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I need to sign it, the sign-in sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Where did it go?
Where are people